Welcome to CorkCon today for March 12th, 2020. This is the show where I break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of CorkCon right now and give you my opinion. Now, this is my opinion. If you want to learn more about these stories, check out the show notes down below. I'd love to hear from you. But in there, you can read about the stories for yourself and come up with your own opinions. If you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, and hopefully we can help you break free from that high-cost cable TV so watch the shows you enjoy. Well, a lot's been happening, but before we get to the news, let's talk about a couple quick deals. Starting off with the Roku Premier 4K. This is their cheap low-end 4K streaming player, down to just $29. Yes, you can get a 4K streaming player for just $29. Link in the show notes down below to find out more about that. Also, if you're a Hulu with on-demand customer, today you can watch day one of the Big Ten and Big East games for free. As part of your Hulu on-demand subscription, today only, they are offering live access to Hulu's coverage of the Big Ten and the Big East game. So link in the show notes down below if you want to find out more about that Roku deal or how to access the free coverage of the Big Ten and Big 12 games today on Hulu's On Demand. All right, so one of the hottest topics recently has been AT&T Sports Net. So these used to be called Root Sports. When AT&T bought them as part of their deal to buy DirecTV, they renamed them to AT&T Sports, the regional sports networks. Well, AT&T never really did anything with them. They haven't brought them into any streaming services. Not even AT&T TV or AT&T TV Now have their AT&T branded streaming, regional sports network streaming, I should say. Well, a couple weeks ago, we heard that AT&T failed to get the money they wanted in a sale. They had them up for auction. They didn't reach the price they wanted. But now AT&T's CFO, Chief Financial Officer, has come out during a speech this week and told investors at an investor conference and said, we think we're close to a deal to sell these networks, that the sale has continued, it didn't end, and that they believe they'll be able to sell this very soon. We're going to have to keep a very close eye on this, see how it plays out. But I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you think about this and what your thoughts are about AT&T selling them. Now, the hope here for cord cutters is that AT&T would sell them to somebody who is more cord cutting friendly with them. And honestly, that has to be almost just about everybody. Because with the exception of the AT&T Sports Net Houston, no one out there is no one's streaming these networks, and that's only streaming on Fubo TV. So hopefully some other agencies out there continue or to bid on this, buy it, and then put it on things like YouTube TV, Sling, and Hulu, and more. The problem is regional sports networks are just not worth what they used to be. A lot of cable networks have pushed back. A lot of streaming services have pushed back on them because they're extremely expensive, but a relatively small number of people actually watch them. So to have them means the vast majority of your subscribers who don't watch them have to pay a high fee to have them. And that's pushed a lot of people away from actually wanting to carry these. So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens here. Is AT&T going to be willing to accept less? Will somebody come up and bid enough to make it worth it? If they do, will they bother bringing it to streaming services? We'll keep a close eye on this. It'll be very interesting. Especially with, NBA suspending their season last night. Will others do that? Will Major League Baseball suspend? We'll have to watch this very closely. Speaking of AT&T, now 3G, their network, if you're still on a phone that only runs 3G or use 3G rollback a lot, 3G is reportedly going to get sunset in about 2 years. AT&T has targeted early 2022, so 2 years from now roughly, to end 3G network. Now that'll still roll back all the way to their edge like 2G network, but 3G is, or wherever, not necessarily edge, wherever that basic rollback you have for support there. But it looks like 3G is going to get sunset. Everything's going to be 4G. Everything's going to be 5G. Ignore what I said about the edge. I apologize. My brain has not fully turned on this morning. I was thinking more, never mind. But the 4G and 5G looks like where AT&T wants to go. And that's what they're targeting. For cord cutters, this could be a good thing. It could mean that even the slower internet soon that you get rolled back to could be more than enough to stream video. I know My wife and I were about to drive cross country on our way home. We're taking a car trip this time. We rented a car. We're going to go back instead of flying. And we enabled 5G or 4G hotspots on our phones so that we would be able to have internet in the vehicle to keep the kids happy. Yeah, if you're a parent, you probably know what I'm talking about on long car trips. Sometimes having that tablet is completely worth it. So check out the link in the show notes down below for this. But my question would be is, as we go to 5G, is this being the slower version, when the network's ingested, it'll be 4G? Because honestly, 4G is more than enough to stream YouTube and Netflix and stuff on the road. That'll be very interesting to me and core cars going forward. Speaking of internet, state and local groups have started to aggressively call for what's called the C-band, which is a particular spectrum on like Wi-Fi takes a specific spectrum, TV broadcasts take a specific spectrum. This spectrum has a lot of promise for high-speed home internet. Amazon's even been testing in this range, but a lot of state and local governments are calling for that particular range, the C-band, to be turned into high-speed internet. It's reportedly going to be able to handle a huge amount of data and basically work very similar to Wi-Fi right now, which they hope to use to bring high-speed internet to congested areas like major cities, wirelessly out there. So I'd love to know, do you think your state and local government should be involved with supplying internet? Do you think that's something you want them to get into? Leave me a comment. And speaking of high-speed internet, our last story, SpaceX. Now, this has been one of the hottest topics in cord cutting. The idea we're going to launch a network of low Earth orbit satellites, far lower than the current satellites that are used for high-speed internet. And then from there, they'll be able to stream high-speed internet to a ton of homes. A lot of people have been asking, what's the latency? Because current satellite internet is very poor latency, which is important for gaming and other similar functions. What's the speed? Well, the head of SpaceX, Elon Musk, came out at a conference this week during Q&A and said it will be a pretty good experience because it would be very low in latency, talk about his internet. We are targeting latency below 20 milliseconds, which is pretty good latency. So somebody could play a fast response video game at competitive level. That's the threshold for latency. So what they're saying here is their new SpaceX home internet will be fast enough to game on. If it's fast enough to game on, it's going to definitely be fast enough to stream Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and more. So we're going to have to watch this very closely, but I'm very excited about this. I think this is a great news for cord cutting. One more legitimate option out there. So keep that in mind. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the news of the day. I'll love to hear from you. I love chatting with you. Tomorrow, Jess is back. I'm driving cross country. So give Jess a warm welcome. I really appreciate it. I'll be back in the office on Monday. So I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, but we'll be here Friday, we'll be here Saturday, and I'll see you on Monday. So I hope you all take care. Thanks for your support. Don't forget to click that like, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us. If you have a news tip, if you have a suggestion, a story, a deal, or more, go to corecardsnews.com, click on the Contact Us, and send us an email. I'd love to hear from you. All right, have a great day. I'll see you real soon.